Hey everyone, this is Jonathan with Cal VEBA. Today I'm going to be taking you through a full body stretch class. This class is suitable for all ages and all abilities. In short, each section is going to begin with some kind of repeated gentle motion to expose specific tissues to movement and to warm them up so they're more compliant when we stretch them. We'll start off with stretches for the legs and hips. We'll move on to stretches for the spine, thorax, and back. And then we're going to finish with stretches for the neck, shoulders, and arms. Throughout today's session, really want you to pay attention to how you're feeling. Oftentimes we get too aggressive with our stretching and we think the deepest stretch is the best stretch, but that's not always true. When we get too aggressive with it, the tissue actually responds by contracting to protect itself. So with all stretches, just come to that first point of tension and ease into it with time and with your breathing. All right, so before we get started, just a few things I want you to grab. You're gonna wanna have some kind of semi-soft surface nearby. This could be a carpeted floor, this could be a yoga mat, this could be a rug. You're also gonna want some kind of strap. This could be a yoga strap or a rolled up towel. Make sure it's a towel you don't mind getting a little dirty. Also, have a cushion nearby. A pillow or a rolled up blanket will be just fine. Finally, we're gonna need a wall. Make sure it's a wall you don't mind resting a little bit of weight on. We're gonna use this for some upper body stretches towards the end. And just one more thing, don't forget some water. All right, y'all, I'm gonna give you a few minutes to set up. When you're ready, come down to the ground on your back in a comfortable position and we'll get started in just a few minutes. Thank you. All right, so first thing we're gonna start off with today is some gentle motion to get some of that tissue warmed up that we're about to stretch. First thing I want you to do is we're gonna start with what's called pelvic tilts. All you're gonna do is drive your low back into the floor just like so, and then you're gonna arch that low back. I want you to go back and forth between this position for a little bit. I'm just gonna cue you a little more on what you should be feeling. So as you're driving down, those hips are tilting up and towards you. And as you're arching your back, your hips are tilting forward and away from you. What I want you to really register here is that our hips really determine where our spine goes, and vice versa, our spine can determine where our hips go. This should feel pretty relaxing, especially when you're driving down into the ground. I'll give you about 15 or 20 more seconds here, and then I'm gonna take you into that next motion. All right, and then we're slowly gonna transition into that next pattern. These are called wipers. So what you're gonna do is make sure you have a wide base like I do. Your elbows are pretty away from your body. You're gonna let both knees fall one direction. So as I let both knees go out to the right, I'm registering a stretch to the outside of the left hip, outside of left torso. From here, I'm slowly gonna come back up, and then I'm going the opposite direction. Stretch now is through the outside of right hip, outside of right torso. One more thing you can do here is as you're falling down to the right, deep breath in. That's gonna increase that stretch between the ribs on your left side. Breathe out as you come back up, and then same thing, deep breath in, go into the left. Register that stretch through the ribs on the right. Breath out as you come back up. I'm gonna give you about 20 or 30 seconds here to just go back and forth. Just go ahead and follow my lead. All right, and then the next one, what you're gonna do is straighten out both legs to start. This is an alternating single knee to chest. As you're pulling one knee in, you're gonna try to pull it all the way up towards that axle or armpit and hug that in as close as you can. You're gonna then extend that leg and go for the opposite one. You're just gonna keep switching here. I'm gonna give you about 20 or 30 seconds and I'll give you a cue in as we go through it. So as you're pulling that leg in at this end range, this is more so a stretch for that upper hamstring right about here. All right, and then that's all I want you to focus on, that region as you're pulling in. Pull that knee towards that armpit, pull that opposite knee towards that armpit. Gonna give you just a little longer, and then I got one more for you before we get into our static stretches. All right, just a few more here, and then we'll go right into that next one. All right, so I want you to go ahead and come to what's called the hook lying position. That's where you have both feet about shoulder width apart, knees are bent just like so. You're gonna take the back of one thigh. You're gonna hold here. Make sure this leg stays perpendicular to the floor, so you have about 90 degrees at the hip. What you're gonna do is work on bending that knee, extend that leg as much as you can. We're gonna go for 15 here. There's 1, coming down and up for 2. You should feel a stretch across the back of that leg. It's not just the musculature that lengthens when we're doing this, but we're actually stretching that sciatic, tibial, and peroneal nerve. And you'll feel that all the way down towards your foot. All right, you're gonna go ahead and straighten, bend. I got us at about 7. We're gonna go for 8 more. And each time you're trying to straighten that leg just a little bit further while keeping that thigh where it's at. Go ahead and give me 3 more here. 1, 2, 3. All right, and then we're gonna do the exact same thing with the opposite leg. Same cueing, stretches across the back of the leg down towards that foot, especially when that knee is extended. And we're just gonna go right for 15 here. Go ahead and bend that knee, extend. Try to stay in tune with that breathing as you're able. I like to breathe in as I'm lowering and breathe out as I extend. Good, just past halfway, keep moving. Good, 2 more here. Good. All right, so that's it for a brief warm up. We're just gonna go ahead and transition into our first stretch today. It's gonna be pretty similar to one of the ones we just did. We're just gonna try to get a little further into that range. So you're gonna take your right knee, you're gonna tuck that right knee up as close as you can towards that right armpit. I like to bring this lower hand a little closer to the front of the ankle, and then I pull that knee in and wide towards the armpit. Again, you should register that stretch more through that upper hamstring right through here, and we're gonna hold here for 45 seconds. All I want you to do is focus on your breathing, deep breath in through the nose, long breath out through the mouth, and every few seconds try to ease just a little bit further into that stretch. All right, go ahead and slowly extend that leg. We're gonna do the exact same thing for the left now. So get that high hand right in front of the knee, that lower hand if you can reach in front of that ankle. Pull that knee in towards that armpit. Every few seconds with your breathing, try to come a little bit further into that stretch. And same duration, about 45 seconds here. All right, slowly set that foot down. Go ahead and bring that right foot back in. Again, this is that hook lying position. We're gonna go into a stretch now for our abductors. Those are muscles on the outside of the hip. Let's just go ahead and get into it, and I'll explain it more as we go. You're gonna bring that right ankle towards your left knee to what's called that figure 4 position. Go ahead and make sure your shoulders stay in contact with the ground. As I rotate down to the left, go ahead and follow my lead. It's gonna feel like my right shoulder wants to lift. Really ensure you're keeping that shoulder down. That's gonna cause the greatest stretch that we can experience on the outside of the right hip and through the side of the right torso. So again, that stretch is all through here. We're gonna hold here for 45 seconds. Through the duration, if you feel you're able, you can take that left hand over your right knee just like so. Slowly pull that knee closer and closer in. When I'm doing it with this pattern, I like to try to pull a little bit further with each long breath out. So deep breath in, long breath out. Easing into that pattern as I'm able. All right, slowly let go of that knee, slowly rotate out, and then we're just gonna switch it. So get that right foot on the floor. Again, that figure 4 position to start, left ankle at right knee. From here, wide base, slowly rotate down towards the right. We're gonna hold here for 45 seconds. And again, that stretches now through the outside of the left hip, outside of the left torso. And through this duration and with your breathing, try to ease a little further into it by pulling that left knee in just like so. All right, slowly come out of that. For that next one, go ahead and grab that strap that I mentioned. It should look something like this. If you don't have a strap, you can take a towel, just take it long ways. You're gonna get it over the top of one foot. We're gonna start with the right leg and make sure that left leg's extended on the floor. So you're gonna get that strap right over the top of that right foot. From here, you're gonna support that leg with your arms. What I want you to do is come down to the ground to start. Make sure that knee's extended. You're gonna pull that strap up. We're gonna hold here for 45 and register that if I come too far, this knee starts to bend. That's where I know my stopping point is. So I'm gonna back out a little bit. As you can see, I'm really tight, so this is a stretch I need daily. And we're gonna hold here for about 45. This stretch is through the back of the leg. Usually you're gonna register it where you're the most tense, anywhere from the back of the hip here, along the back of the thigh, even all the way down to the sole of the foot. And same thing with time with your breathing. Try to ease in a little further if you're able. All right, so go ahead and keep your leg where it's at. Listen to me carefully. I want you to take both ends in just your right hand. You're gonna send your left arm out wide so you have a base. From here, you're gonna slightly bend that right knee. Let that leg fall out to that right. That stretch is gonna transition more to medial hamstring through here and through inner thigh. We're just holding this one for 20 seconds. And with time, try to let the outside of that ankle sink closer and closer towards the floor. All right, slowly come back up to the center. Stay here for just a second. You're gonna take that strap now in just your left hand. Right arm goes wide. Keep that same small bend in that knee. Slowly lower the opposite direction. That stretch now transitions to more lateral hamstring. We're gonna hold here just for 20 and through the outside of that right hip, right torso, slowly lowering further as you're able. All right, slowly come out of that. Next, we're gonna switch to that opposite leg. If you're able, this is how I like to do it. I like to just bring that left foot in, take that right out, straighten out that right leg, lower it, and we're gonna start with that straight leg raise here. So same thing, come down to the floor, make sure that knee's extended, pull that leg up to where you feel like that knee's about to start bending, and we're gonna hold here for 45. And again, that stretch is from back of the hip as high as the glutes, through the back of the thigh, back of the knee, possibly all the way to the sole of that foot. And with time, easing further into that stretch. All right, now I want you to go ahead and take both ends in just that left hand. You're gonna send that right arm out wide, small bend in that left knee, let that leg fall out to the side. We're gonna hold here for 20 seconds. Again, stretches through the inner thigh on the left side and that medial hamstring. All right, slowly come back up to center. Keep that small bend. Switch over to your right hand, left arm wide. We're going that opposite direction. We're holding here for 20. And again, this side stretches through that lateral hamstring through here, outside of the left hip, outside of the left torso. All right, slowly come out of that. Go ahead and take that strap off and you can set that to the side. Just one more stretch for you on your back here. We've kind of hit all fronts of the hips so far that we're able to on the ground. We just really want to get those adductors a little more. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna get the soles of your feet together, let your knees fall open. We're gonna hold here for 45. That stretch should feel like it's through the inner thigh. If you're able, you can place both hands down inside of each knee and push down as you're able to increase that stretch. A lot of what we do day to day with those seated positions, this adductor complex has the tendency to become too tight. So for most people, this feels pretty good. Same thing, ease into it with your breath as you're able. All right, slowly come out of that. And so that next stretch, we're actually gonna be on our stomach. So you can roll either way. Go ahead and come down just like so. What I want you to do from here, find a comfortable rested position. And we're gonna start with stretching that left quadricep. I like to place my right hand down, rest the outside of my right head here on the hand, and then you're gonna reach for that left ankle, pull it towards your bottom. We're gonna hold here for 45. What I want you to do as you're doing this is squeeze your bottom on the left side. Try to drive the front of the hip into the ground. And that's not only gonna stretch those quadriceps, but also those hip flexors. You're gonna hold here. As you're able, you're pulling that heel closer and closer towards your bottom. All right, slowly lower that leg. And same deal for the opposite side. You can rest that hand. You're gonna reach for that right ankle. We're gonna hold here 45. Squeeze your bottom and try to drive the front of that right hip into the floor. And every few seconds as you're able, bring that heel a little closer to your bottom. Should feel this across the front of that right thigh. Usually just starting right above the knee, across the whole front thigh, and up into that hip if you're really trying to squish the floor with the front of your hip. All right, slowly come out of that. From here, you're gonna push up. And the next stretch is gonna be for hip flexors. So this is where I recommended that folded blanket or that cushion, whatever you have local to you. A lot of people don't like the knee in direct contact with the ground. Your yoga mat might be soft enough. If not, you can utilize that for your knee, just like so. I'm gonna go without it just so you have a better view of what's going on. But I'm gonna keep my left knee on the ground. I'm gonna send my right foot forward. And my goal here with this trailing leg is bringing it towards the direction of parallel with the floor while keeping my chest up. And I'm gonna hold here for 45 seconds. As I'm able, I'm driving this left hip forward a little more, squeezing my left glute, keeping my chest high, and my stretch is all through here, through that hip flexor group. All right, slowly push back out of that. And we're gonna switch sides. Keep that right knee on the floor, left leg forward. Same cue of trailing leg comes towards the direction of parallel with the floor. You're gonna prop up off that knee. We're holding here 45. Really squeezing that right glute, keeping your chest high. You can push off those hands a bit if you need to. And again, stretches across front of right hip. All right, slowly come out of that. And then next, we're gonna start moving up to some stretches for the back and spine. What I want you to do, if you're able, is sit your hips back towards your heels like so. If you can't make it there, you can take that folded blanket or that cushion you can place it here. It should be a little easier to get to that starting position. We're just going to spend about 20 or 30 seconds working on rotating our spine. In this position, I'm keeping my lumbar spine pretty locked. It's locked because my pelvis is stable. So this is mostly more mid-chest rotation. So when we're rotating, I want you to pay attention to where your sternum's facing. So as I'm rotating left, my sternum faces left. As I rotate right, same deal. If you want, you can grab the outside of that knee, give a little overpressure to rotate further, and we're gonna go back and forth for 30 seconds starting from now. Rotating left, rotating right. Every few times, just trying to come a little bit further into that range. All right, so next one we're gonna do for a rep count, I'll count them out for you. We're just gonna add a bit of a side bend to what we were just doing to stretch more of those muscles along the outside of the torso. I also wanna cue this with your breathing. When we take a deep breath in with that side bend, we stretch a lot of our intercostals a little more. That'll make more sense, and I think you'll register it with that first one. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna start with rotating towards your left. You're gonna bring your hand towards your chest, and you're gonna side bend to the right, deep breath in, stretches across the left side of the torso, breath out. Now we're gonna rotate to the right, hand towards chest, side bend left, deep breath in, stretches through outside of right torso, and then we're just gonna go back and forth. I'm gonna leave it to you to keep up with that breathing. So let's go ahead and rotate left for 1. We're gonna go for 5 more on each side. You're gonna side bend right. You're gonna rotate right, side bend left. Good, 4 more each direction. All right, 2 more each side. Try to get a little further into that range with that side bend if you're able. Deep breath in. One more each way. All right, and we got 2 more motions to warm up that back. Next one's your cat-cows. We're all pretty familiar with this one. I'm just gonna give you more ample cueing on it. So best place to start is in what's called quadruped. So I have my knees right under my hips. I have my hand right under my shoulder. We're gonna start out with that cat pose. From here, what I want you to do is push that earth away, shoulder blades punch away from your spine, tuck your chin in, those hips roll back, and that tailbone sinks to get that fully rounded back. We're gonna go the opposite direction now. We're gonna start extending that back. We're gonna look up, squeeze our shoulder blades in, tailbone rises towards the ceiling. I'm gonna have you go back and forth here for about a minute. Breath out as you round. Breath in as you extend. Again, squeeze those shoulder blades, tailbone rises. Every few times, trying to ease a little further into each motion. And if you feel really good, I usually feel pretty good in this cat position. It's okay to hold here at the top of that arch a little longer before you reverse the other direction. All right, let's go for 1 more. Really extend, really round. All right, let's take a break, kind of deload those shoulders for a second, shake them out. We're gonna reset into that same position, work a little more rotation. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna come to that same starting position of quadruped, knees under hips, hands under shoulders. You're gonna bring that left hand right behind your head. I want you to rotate in till that left elbow touches the right, and then rotate open slowly, only as far as your body will let you. Try not to thrust open. I like to breathe in when I rotate in, breathe out as I rotate out. That's 2. We're just gonna go for 6 here. Breath in, breath out. Breath in, breath out. 2 more. And then same thing here. Give those shoulders a little bit of a break, and we're gonna reset for 6, the opposite direction. So come back to that same position, hands under shoulders. Now we're going right hand behind the head. Breath in as you rotate in, bring that right elbow towards the left. Breath out as you rotate open. There's 1, and just going for 6. One more here. Breath in. Breath out as you rotate open. All right, same thing, short little break. Now's a good time to grab a little water if you need it before we go into some more prolonged holds. All right, when you're ready, we're gonna go ahead and go into our child's pose next. So you're just gonna walk those hands forward. Try to get them to this quadruped position to start. From here, normally I like to bring them about a foot higher. And then my goal here is sitting my hips towards my heels as I round my back, and I let the ground pull my arms overhead. And we're just gonna hold here for about 45 seconds. I want you to pay attention to that traction you have with the ground. Don't let those hands slide closer to you. This traction is helping us lengthen our spine. So I want you to really try to pay attention to your back, each vertebrae, creating a little more space between the one above it and beneath it. Just a little bit longer here. All right, slowly come out of that. And the next one's called an open book hold. So you're gonna come down onto your right side. Just go ahead and follow me. Make sure everything's clear on your side because we're gonna be rotating open. So I'm coming down onto my right side with my right leg and left leg bent. You're gonna start with that right arm straight. This one will start more actively and then we'll go into that prolonged hold. So you're gonna go for a big breath in as you rotate open. Breath out as you rotate close. We're gonna do 5 of these before that sustained hold. Big breath in. Breath out, 3 more here. Each time trying to come a little bit further. And here's that 5th one. All right, and on the next one, I'm gonna try to get that arm all the way to the floor. And so just go ahead and watch me, follow my lead. So I'm rotating open. I'm letting the back of that arm come to the ground. I'm letting both shoulders contact. And we're gonna passively hold here for about 45 seconds. If you're really tense through that musculature and that fascia along the side of the torso, pretty common, that left knee is gonna wanna lift. So what I like to do is I like to take my right hand outside of that left thigh, lightly push down, and that helps me hold that rotation and increases the stretch across the left side of my body. All right, slowly come out of that. And I'm gonna turn away from you for this next one, but same cueing. We're gonna do 5 dynamic openers, and then we'll do that hold. So we're coming along that left side. Left knee, right knee bent, left arm straight. Big breath in as you rotate open. Breath out as you rotate shut. There's 1, we're gonna go for 4 more. Trying to go a little further each time you open. Getting ready for coming down onto the ground. 2 more here. Last one. Take a second. Big breath in. Now we're rotating open into that hold. Try to get that right arm in contact with the ground, let both shoulders touch. We're gonna hold here for 45. And same cueing, this right leg wants to lift. So take that left hand outside that right thigh, lightly hold it down to maintain that rotation. And you're gonna hold right here. All right, slowly come out of that. And then I got one more stretch for you here, really focusing on more that torso, back region, and outside of hip. This one's kind of tricky to set up for. It's called banana pose. We'll go through it slow. So what I want you to do is take that right leg, swing it out wide. From here, you're gonna take that left leg and you're gonna cross that left ankle over to your right. If you went wide enough, you should already register a stretch to the outside of the left hip. What we're gonna do here now is I'm gonna prop up on my elbows, side bend myself a little more to the right. We're gonna hold here 45. I'm gonna take my left arm, if I'm able, reach overhead, and I'm making this banana-like shape. This is creating a stretch to the outside of my left hip, all through left side of torso. And with time, if you're able, try to reach higher and further with that left arm. All right, slowly release that arm, release that side bend, bring those legs back to center, and we're gonna go the opposite direction. So you're gonna swing that left leg wide, you're gonna bring that right ankle over the left, we're gonna hold here 45. If you're able, go a little more into that side bend, you can prop up and move. Take that right arm, reach overhead, hold here. Stretches across the outside of the right hip, outside of the right torso. All right, slowly release right arm down, uncross those legs. And we're gonna start transitioning into more stretches for the shoulders. But same thing, let's expose them to a little motion. Should be pretty warm from some of the weight bearing stuff we did in that quadruped position, but we're gonna move them a little anyways. So I want you to take that right arm just like so, kind of like you're bringing something to your mouth. And then now you're gonna extend that arm out diagonal, place that hand on the floor, come back up, try to reach high. We're just gonna go for 10 here. So there's 1, going into that 2nd, 2, into that 3rd, 3. Good, keep moving, I'll keep your count. Three more here. All right, and then next, we're still gonna work on that right. So bring that arm up till you have about 90 degrees here, and we're just gonna work into a little bit of rotation. So how that's gonna work is you're gonna let that palm fall towards the floor. This is my stopping point. I have a prior shoulder injury, and I know many do, especially that are right arm dominant. So really ease into this one. Just stop where your body's giving you signs of tension. Now you're gonna go the opposite direction, rotate out, back of the hand comes towards the floor, and then you're gonna go back here. So we're in internal rotation or an external, that's 2. We're just going for 10 here. 3. One more. Good. Then you can go ahead and rest that arm. Next, we're going to do the same thing, but for the left. You're going to reach up like you're bringing something to your mouth initially. Come down diagonal, palm towards floor, up and across your body. That's 1. You're going for 10. And this one's just gross motion of the shoulder to warm up a lot of muscles across the front, side, and back of it. We got 5 more here, keep moving. One more. Good, and then same thing, bring that left arm up to about 90, and then you're just slowly gonna rotate in, rotate out. That's 1, going for 10 here. Good, 3 more. Trying to ease further and further into that range each time. Just see 1 more each way. Good. All right, and then we're gonna start moving into those more static holds for the shoulders. So you're slowly gonna come out of that position. I want you to start off in quadruped like we did for that pose earlier. And what we're gonna do is what's more so called puppy pose. I'm gonna pull out this blanket and show you a way that we can progress it, but first let me show you the traditional way. So you're gonna walk those hands forward. Earlier our goal was sitting our weight back. Now our goal is sinking our chest through our arms. So that's gonna look like this. I'm trying to bring my chest towards the floor, keeping my back mostly straight, and trying to get those arms in line with the ears. And we're gonna hold here just for about 30 seconds. Just a little longer here. Good, slowly walk out, take a few seconds. And then with that blanket, what we can do is we're gonna isolate one arm at a time now. So I'm gonna place this high. I'm gonna place just my left hand. It's gonna get a little more elevated so I can get a little more into shoulder flexion. I'm gonna bring this right forearm towards the ground. Same thing, hips will come back a little bit, but my focus is sinking that chest towards the ground. And I'm gonna hold here for about 30 seconds. Just a little longer. Good, let's slowly come out. And then you're just gonna shift that blanket to the right. Right hand up, same thing, left forearm down. Drop those hips back a bit, but focus again is chest towards the ground. We're gonna hold here for about 30 seconds. Just a little bit longer here. Good, slowly come out. Take a few seconds, deload those arms. We're pretty much gonna do the same thing. We're just gonna set that blanket, pillow, whatever you have, more in a diagonal. So for that first stretch, we had it overhead. So it's getting a lot of those muscles across the front of the shoulder, it's getting the lats. But when we come out in that diagonal like so, at about 45 degrees, we're gonna get a little bit more of that chest. So go ahead and come on up to quadruped to start. Instead of having that above the shoulder, we're gonna have it out to the side just a little bit. And same goal, I'm sinking back and it feels like my arm's being pulled diagonal, but I'm also trying to drive my chest towards the floor. This right forearm can come down towards the ground. Stretches more through left chest. We're gonna hold here for about 30 seconds. Good, just a little bit longer. Slowly ease out. And we're gonna move that blanket or whatever you have to the other side. So same thing, a bit above shoulder height, out to the side. Right hand up now, sinking back and down, chest towards floor, left forearm down. Stretches out of the front side of the right chest. And we're holding here for about 30 seconds. Good, just a little bit longer. Slowly come out. All right, so we just did some stretching for chest, front of the shoulder. Now we're gonna try to get more kind of like that middle deltoid region. I'm gonna turn on my mat so you have a better view of what I'm doing. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start here in quadruped position. I'm gonna start with the left side. This one's called threading the needle. And I change it up a little bit from the traditional. So what I do is I take left arm under, up in diagonal. I like to take my right hand to pin this hand towards the floor. And then I'm dropping my hips back and we're holding here for about 45 seconds. Stretches through outside of left shoulder, back of left shoulder. Every few seconds, trying to drop a little further back. If you have a surface where that hand can slide, you can use that right hand to slide that left hand up a little bit more and continue your hold. Good, keep where you're at. Little bit longer here. Good, slowly coming out. And then same thing for the right. We're gonna thread through diagonal, pinch that hand with the left, drop those hips back. Should feel like this ground's trying to pull this arm up in diagonal, stretches through outside of right shoulder, through the side and the back. And same cue, and if you have that surface where that hand can slide, you can slide that up and create a little bit more of a stretch. And we're gonna hold here that same duration. Little longer here. Good, slowly ease out of that. All right, and then go ahead and just take a minute, get a little bit of water. Our next set of stretches, we're gonna come to the standing position and we're gonna utilize a wall. I'll be back with you in just a minute. Thank you. All right, so for that next series of stretches, you're just gonna come up to any wall within the house. Doesn't necessarily need to be a corner. I'm using a flat wall today. So for that first one, we're just gonna stretch out that chest. So what I like to do is I like to come up to the wall where I can make contact with my forearm. I slide that arm up as I walk away. Try to get to that point where this main trunk of the arm's parallel with the floor. From here, I turn my hand, create a little traction with the wall, and then you're just gonna rotate your torso away, and we're gonna hold here for 30 seconds. Good, I got that time going for you. That stretch is predominantly through the chest here, through the front of the shoulder. As you're able, you can rotate in a little bit. Occasionally, if I feel I can handle a little more pressure, I'll take this hand and I'll manually turn my torso a little bit. Good, hold here just a little longer. All right, and then we'll slowly come out of that one. So next what you're gonna do is that hand's gonna be right at shoulder level. Create a little traction. I use my fingers here, arms parallel to floor. And then from here, rotating out, we're holding for 30. This one's a little more specific to that bicep in front of the shoulder. Same deal though, rotate away as you're able, turn a little more. You can use that hand to rotate via the ribs here a little farther. Good, hold here just a little longer, and then we're gonna hit both stretches on the left side. Good, slowly come out of that. And for next one, I'm just gonna turn around, but it's gonna be the same deal. Left forearm up, you're gonna slide that arm up till it's parallel, create that traction, turn away, we're holding for 30 seconds from now. Stretches across front of left chest, front of left shoulder, easing in as you're able. And again, if you can add more rotation, you can do that by lightly rotating at the ribs here. Good, slowly rotate out. Same thing, straighten that arm. Still fingertips in contact with the wall so we have some traction. And we're gonna rotate away, holding for 30. Stretches through that left bicep, left front of the shoulder. Rotating on your own first, and then adding that additional rotation if you're able. Good, slowly coming out of that. I just got one more stretch for you. We just want to address some of that neck musculature. So when we're focusing on this left side, what I want you to do is, first thing you're going to do is take that left arm. I like to make a fist, act like I'm punching down towards the floor to keep the shoulder dropped. And then you're just gonna bring your chin towards your right armpit. And with this, we're feeling a little more stretch through a muscle called levator's gap, which is that top of the shoulder blade up the back of the neck. And then what you're gonna do during the stretch, we're gonna time you 30 from now. You're gonna rotate, try to bring that ear towards that armpit. That'll get more your trap, same region. Rotate chin, rotate ear, rotate chin, rotate ear. And you're just doing this for that duration of 30 seconds. And grossly, we're getting all these muscles along the back side of the neck and shoulder. All right, and then other side, same deal. Right arm, punch down towards that floor. Start with bringing that chin towards that left armpit. I'm timing you 30 from now. And then rotate that left ear towards left armpit. Chin towards left armpit. Ear, chin. And that's grossly through this whole region here. Good. Every few turns, trying to go a little bit further. All right, everyone, that's all I got for you today. Thanks so much for joining me. I hope you can take these positive changes in through the rest of your day. Again, the sequencing of this video, we started with stretches for lower body, then more torso spine to neck and shoulders. So in the future, please re-reference this video and find the specific section that you need. Also, please be checking back with VEBA regularly for newly updated videos. Thank you and have a good day.